The story opens in the frozen chaos of World War II as a train packed beyond reason rolls toward Stalingrad. Young Soviet conscripts are crushed together in cattle cars, many barely trained, some still boys. Among them is Vasily Zaitsev, a quiet shepherd from the Ural Mountains who has learned patience and precision by hunting wolves in endless snow. He carries little more than his rifle and a calm that seems out of place among shouting officers and terrified soldiers. When the train stops, reality hits immediately. German planes scream overhead, bombs tear through the station, and the men are thrown into a city already half destroyed. Smoke fills the air, and the Volga River burns with oil and wreckage. The new soldiers are rushed across the river under constant fire. Many are killed before they even reach the shore. Panic spreads, but the NKVD political officers shout orders with pistols drawn. Retreat is forbidden. Anyone who runs will be shot. Rifles are handed out carelessly, sometimes one gun for every 2 men. The other is told to follow and pick up the weapon when his comrade falls. It is a brutal introduction to the Soviet war machine, where fear of your own side can be as strong as fear of the enemy. As German forces pour into the city, Stalingrad becomes a nightmare of rubble and close combat. Buildings change hands multiple times a day. Snipers hide in broken walls, burned factories, and collapsed apartments. Vasily is thrown into the fighting with no special status. He watches men die in seconds. He survives by instinct, staying low, moving slowly, and using the terrain the way he once used rocks and trees while hunting. During a chaotic street battle, he notices a German officer calmly directing troops from an exposed position. While others fire wildly, Vasily takes careful aim and kills him with a single shot. No one notices at first. It is just another death in a city full of them. Later, Vasily encounters Danilov, a Soviet political officer who work. The night deepens, and Stalingrad feels less like a city and more like a graveyard of stone and steel. Fires burn low, casting weak orange light across shattered walls. The wind carries ash, distant gunfire, and the groans of the wounded. Vasily moves carefully through the ruins, every step measured, every breath controlled. The injury to Tanya has shaken him, but it has also sharpened his resolve. Now he knows for certain that the German sniper is real, skilled, and close. At dawn, Vasily studies the battlefield with fresh eyes. He forces himself to slow down, to think like the hunter he once was. He begins tracking signs that most soldiers would miss. A disturbed brick, a faint glint of metal, a body positioned just a little too deliberately. Koenig is not rushing. He is waiting, confident that pressure and fear will force Vasily into a mistake. Danilov finds Vasily near an abandoned factory and delivers news about Tanya. She is alive, but barely. Doctors do not know if she will walk again, or even survive the infection setting in. Vasily listens silently. He does not ask questions. The uncertainty is worse than bad news. Danilov tries to speak like an officer, reminding him of duty and morale, but his voice breaks. For the first time, the propagandist looks exhausted and unsure of the cause he has been selling so fiercely. The 2 men argue quietly. Vasily accuses Danilov of turning him into bait. Danilov defends himself, saying the city needs heroes, that belief keeps men fighting when reason tells them to run. Vasily responds that belief will not stop a bullet. The tension between them hangs heavy, unresolved, as they part ways. Both know they are trapped by their roles. Vasily cannot stop fighting, and Danilov cannot stop telling the story. Meanwhile, Koenig tightens his grip on the area. He studies Vasily not just as a target but as a mind. He notes the sniper's restraint, his preference for difficult shots, his avoidance of easy kills that might reveal positio. By the 3rd day of the duel, Stalingrad feels unnaturally still. The large battles continue elsewhere, but in this ruined district, time seems frozen. Snow drifts through broken windows and settles on bodies that no one has time to bury. Vasily has not slept. He moves only when necessary, conserving energy, letting the city hide him. Danilov's death weighs heavily on him, but grief has turned into something colder and more focused. Now the duel is personal, not emotional, but absolute. Vasily studies Koenig's behavior carefully. The German sniper is patient, but also proud. He likes control. He wants to finish the hunt cleanly, with certainty. Vasily understands that such confidence can be used against him. Instead of avoiding contact, Vasily decides to give Koenig exactly what he expects, a wounded, desperate enemy who is running out of options. He deliberately leaves signs. A footprint where there should be none. A spent cartridge placed carelessly. A piece of cloth caught on exposed rebar. These clues suggest haste and fatigue. Vasily knows Koenig will see them and believe the pressure is working. The trap is not mechanical. It is psychological. Koenig notices immediately. He follows the trail slowly, never rushing, but his interest is clear. The signs confirm his theory that Vasily is unraveling after the loss of his comrades. From his point of view, the duel is nearing its natural end. He positions himself higher in the ruins, using elevation to dominate sightlines. He waits, confident that Vasily will reveal himself. Hours pass. The cold becomes brutal. Vasily lies motionless beneath a thin layer of debris, controlling his breathing so carefully that even steam does not escape his lips. His muscles ache, but he does not move. He thinks of the Ural forests, of quiet mornings before the war, of a life where patience meant survival, not death. He reminds himself that this moment will define everything. Koenig finally takes the bait. He fires a calculated shot at one. When the shooting finally stops in that section of the ruins, Vasily does not move right away. His body is stiff from cold and tension, his mind slow to accept that the duel is over. Koenig lies motionless where he fell, no longer a legend, just another casualty swallowed by Stalingrad. Vasily feels no satisfaction. There is only a dull emptiness, the kind that comes when survival costs too much. Soviet soldiers begin to appear cautiously, advancing through the rubble. They recognize Vasily almost immediately. Word spreads fast. The German master sniper is dead. The danger that haunted this part of the city has ended. Faces light up with relief and awe. Some men cheer quietly, others simply nod, as if afraid to break the fragile calm. Vasily accepts their congratulations without enthusiasm. To them, this is victory. To him, it is closure. Command takes Vasily away from the front line for a short time. Officers want reports, confirmation, details they can shape into another story. He gives them facts and nothing more. The kill, the position, the timing. He leaves out fear, doubt, and the cost paid by those who stood beside him. Danilov's name is mentioned, but only briefly. There is no space in official records for regret. Vasily is taken to see Tanya. She lies in a crowded field hospital, pale and weak but alive. Infection nearly took her, but she survived. The doctors say she will recover, though the war has changed her forever. When she opens her eyes and sees Vasily, there is no dramatic exchange, no speeches. They simply look at each other, sharing relief in silence. In a world of constant noise and death, silence is the closest thing to peace. News of Koenig's death spreads quickly. Newspapers print bold headlines. Posters appear. Vasily Zaitsev becomes more than a man. He becomes proof that the enemy can be beaten, that skill and courage still matter. Soldiers repeat his story in trenches and ruins, drawing strength from it. The myth grows larger than the truth.